watch tentacle porn when I'm alone. Ugh.
Well, who doesn't, my friend? Come on.
Yeah,
Let's not bring tentacle porn into this. Not hurt nobody.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everyone. I'm Justin Land. This is Alexander Heyho. And let's start the show. Heyho, what have you been playing recently?
2 games, and it was supposed to be 3. So the deal is that I'm going to play every free Epic game that comes out every week, and then talk about it on the podcast. And
The deal.
There was 2 of them. One of them is called The Lion Song, and it's kind of a 2D game where you have to compose a piece of art, a musical piece of art, and it got really good reviews, and I just don't get it. It's not my style of game, but I bit the bullet and I played it for a little while. Not
Too
very
highbrow
exciting.
for you?
Yeah, it's too highbrow. It's a good way to put it. It's like a fine wine of games. The one thing that I will say for it, though, is that I found the experience to be kind of relaxing. And the audio was done really well. Like, the audio was really crisp sounding. So,
Well, so is it like an atmosphere style game? Did it have a story?
yeah, it's a story, and it's a point and click type of thing. But you don't like move around by pointing and clicking. It gives you a scene, and you have to like click on different items within that scene.
Yeah,
and there will be dialogue and narration, telling you, oh, this is what you found in the bookshelf. There's a locked box, and then you have to click around to try to find a key.
What was in the bookshelf?
Yeah. So,
The skeleton hand.
It'd be a good game to take on mushrooms.
Really?
Yeah, mushrooms, I would say. But
you know what it kind of reminds me of? Did you ever play back in elementary school in America? We'd sometimes play in the computer class. They'd have like Arthur game. It was like Arthur the cartoon, and it was just like these pictures, and you could click on stuff, and it would have like a little scene play, and like you click on a mailbox and go like boing and pop open, and you could click on the house, and you see like Arthur like talking with his dad.
No, I didn't play that, but it sounds like a blast.
Yeah, it kind of like reminds me of that. Dude, they were so fun. I don't know, I loved them. There was like a Magic School Bus one, I'm pretty sure.
You know what there was?
Like,
oh, go ahead. Sorry for cutting you off.
No, I was done.
There was a Goosebumps one back in like for Windows 95. And it was kind of like that, but it had like real action, like people in it, and it had like graphics, and it was a point and click thing. It was really weird. Oh man, that brings back a lot of memories, nostalgia.
It was actually like a Goosebumps porno.
Yeah, and I think it was Goosebumps. It was something like kind of in that hokey horror genre.
You just see like that dummy fucking like one of those reptile aliens.
Oh shit. Yeah.
I'm the 5-penis-fingered monster in your closet.
Yeah, dude, it had stuff like that. I'm not even kidding. So the Lion Song came out in 2016. What's listed on the Wikipedia near the top of the list, which is kind of rare, is the composer. So that and alone just kind of tells you that's a big part of the game. Dynamedion is their name. And the developer... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I was going to say, is the basic music, like, is it classical? Is it, like, jazzy?
It's, like, orchestral.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And then the developer is Me Pumi Games. Sounds like an Indian company.
Yeah. Me Poo on me game.
Yeah. But yeah, 9 out of 10 on Steam, 4.5 out of 5 on Google Play, 81% Metacritic. And if I had to rate it, I'd probably give it like a 4 out of 10. It's just not my style. And speaking of which, the game that I was supposed to play, another one, the second free Epic Games, and if you're interested in this game, it's out this week, right now, is NBA 2K1. And I downloaded it, and I couldn't bring myself to actually play it. It just looks so bad, and I'm not a big basketball video game player, so but if you look at Steam, let me see here, it's got mostly negative reviews out of 21,500 reviews. Someone on here, like the top rated comment, they were saying how it's just a copy and paste of the last NBA game.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just it's
Well, I've played it like before, and yeah, I mean it's the same thing. I'll talk about it a little bit here with FIFA 21 as well, but well, it's actually maybe even worse than FIFA because the big problem is like even if you're playing single player mode, like the classic, like just legend mode or whatever, like I'm playing my character, and trying to make him like the best, from like rookie, like the best player. Even that is designed in such a way where it wants you to spend money to gain stats in the single player part of the game.
Yeah.
And that part of the game has gotten worse and worse. And then if the fact that, especially on PC, it's like on PC, it's all hackers. Like they don't do anything to regulate the online game, and so people will just like make like giants, like and fuck the physics up, and then just be super fast and score every shot. There's actually some funny YouTube videos on that. But yeah, and then the classic sports game problem where they do absolutely nothing to improve any mode outside of pay more money to play the game mode. But yeah, it's annoying. It might be one of the worst sports games, even.
For all that Chinese money, you'd think that they'd be able to put out a better game than that.
You'd think so.
So before we get on to my third game, which is a game we've both been playing, other than FIFA, have you been playing anything else?
Yeah, I've been playing FIFA. I'm gonna actually just talk about FIFA though, real quick, because
Mm-hmm.
I'd say the difference with FIFA is that whereas it tries to push you into the FUT mode, which is like the trading cards and unlock packs, and then play people, with a totally unfair advantage if you spent thousands of dollars.
So stupid.
I have zero draw to that mode. Like I don't really like playing FIFA online if it's not with people I know. So luckily I'm not hooked by that. But that's where like all the money goes, and people are definitely have problems with that mode. But at least I can play the single player mode, which has not been updated in like 8 years, which is another problem with it. But at least I can play that mode by myself, and not have to pay money to improve my character. Like, so at least compared to like 2K, it's not that fucking horrible. If you're not drawn to those kind of open pack game mechanic, casino, addiction things, then it can still be kind of a fun game. The problem is it's just, it never improves upon itself outside of graphics and some game engine updates. I do kind of like the way this one plays compared to maybe like 18, 17.
So does so that has the pay scheme as well, where it's like you can pay for better stats? No, that's just NBA 2K1.
Yeah, this one you pay to open packs to get better characters in the football ultimate team game mode. But that's an online game mode.
Gotcha. Yeah, well, NBA 2K1 is $60, like unless you get it on Epic for free. So for $60, and then you get in the game, and they try to make you spend a bunch more money to be able to compete online
or grind for a long time.
Do you know if the grind is reasonable, or is it like?
No, it's not.
Oh man, that's shitty. That's fucked up. I do not agree with that at all.
Like, there's ways to cheese it. Like, you can basically, people make characters with specific builds and height and size to like cheese the stats. So you can kind of do that, and then it's much easier to just score really fast and just dominate the game, get like 70 points, all the rebounds, and boost your stats a little bit faster that way. But overall, it'd still take like 3 seasons to make like a 3 or 4 seasons to make a fully maxed character. And if you're trying to grind that out to go play online, I mean, that's a lot of game time.
Oh, I see. Well, maybe they know their target market. Maybe the people who play their games like NBA 2K1, maybe it's an older demographic who has more money and who doesn't have it. I don't know. I'm trying to think of how they could rationalize selling a $60 game.
Yeah, well, basketball they rationalize it because money in their pocket. They probably make more money doing this than they would lose people, making a shittier product.
Well, it's got mostly negative reviews on Steam, and I think that's probably one of the reasons why.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was driving at, is that like clearly people are dissatisfied with it.
Yeah,
but I do think basketball is like one of the fastest growing and youngest audiences in sports. So I think I would be surprised if 2K had an older demographic.
Well, let's talk about a good game now. Okay. Yeah. So we've both been playing Subnautica Below Zero. Would you like to start talking about that?
Sure. I've just got the sea truck and the high capacity tank, but I haven't gotten the ultra yet. So I just started going to the twisty forest, kind of getting into the geysers. I got to the island,
nice,
with the radio tower. And so I've been having a lot of fun. It's definitely more compact. Like the biomes are a lot closer than they seem at first. I understand that there's like a big land part now too, because like I got one piece to like Arctic Fox, and it was clearly like a land vehicle or something. So it seems like there's a lot of land to explore, which will be interesting. And yeah, I'm loving it. Like the music's still great, the atmosphere is still great. Maybe even better in some ways. I don't know. I will say so far though, the enemies seem a little less intimidating, a little less scary than in the previous one. I think maybe it's because I've been used to them, but I feel like it's kind of that Dark Souls thing where you can just swim in circles around them infinitely until they give up, and all their like attacks and stuff are fairly predictable to see coming. They're pretty telegraphed. But overall, yeah, I'm just definitely loving the experience. Haven't hit any roadblocks to enjoying it. The progression feels good. The sense of discovery is there. And also too, like with the design of this one, it almost leads you towards the areas that it wants you to go better. Like potential spoilers, but you find this like artifact cave fairly early on. And you kind of see these pillars with blinking lights. And you're like, oh, what's that? Swim, swim, swim. And it's like, oh, there's more over here. And so it does a good job of, without telling you where to go, without having little map markers, intuitively showing you the direction to take with the environmental detail.
Yeah, it's I was actually pretty impressed with that myself, the way the developers handled that. And just that kind of magic hand, that guiding hand that the developers sometimes have, where a lot of times it's not that secretive. Like, that's one thing I don't like about a lot of games, where it's like, okay, this is super linear, this is exactly the route that I'm supposed to be on. But in Subnautica Below Zero, and the first one as well, it just kind of feels like you're alone and there's no developer guiding you. But really, there is a developer secretly kind of guiding
invisible
you.
Hand.
Yeah, the invisible hand.
Yeah. I call that the stranger.
Oh. Yeah, so I have almost 20 hours in to Subnautica Below Zero. At about 2.5 hours, I consciously was mindful of my different milestones. So 2.5 hours in, and I had a base that I'm still using 20 hours into the game. So it took me only about 2.5 hours to get all the materials and all that stuff to make a mid-game base. And it's been good sized and everything. At about 10 hours in,
Would you start with the base? Sorry, I cut your flow. But would you start with base wise?
just one of those cylindrical, a couple of those cylindrical.
Multi-purpose room.
A multi-purpose room with a scanner and a control room attached to it. And I think I had a couple other rooms for my very first base next to the drop pod. That was my very first base.
Yeah, that's where mine is. Yeah.
Yeah, and then my second.
Oh,
go ahead.
I found a large guy, so I put down a large one. Well, I had like the multi-purpose room, and I made a tiny one, and then I found the large component guy, so I just slapped that down, and then I put a monsoon room, and I had that before I found the sea truck or the vehicular module to build it. So like it was like, I don't know if I found them in the right order or not, but
there's no right order. I don't think. It's just,
well,
yeah. As you stumble across stuff, and it's gonna be different for everybody. You know, I think I found the sea truck. Well, no, I did find the large compartment first before I found all the sea truck fragments. But then the second base, the one that I had built 2.5 hours in, it was two large rooms sat side by side with a moon pool, a scanner room, a control room, and I think that's about it. And that's lasted me 20 hours into the game. And then about 10 hours in, I had all the pieces to make the prawn suit. And once you get the prawn suit, it becomes much more easy to dive deeper down. The mod for the diving down deeper that you can put into the prawn suit, it's cheaper to build than the mods for the sea truck. But just recently, 20 hours in, I've got the sea truck is a modular system where you've got these different compartments that you can build and attach to the back of the sea truck.
Yeah, like aquarium,
fabricator, storage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I decided that the fabricator and the aquarium weren't important enough to put on my truck. I've got 2 storage rooms, a sleeper, which is like a bedroom, and in the very back, I've got a compartment that I can attach my prawn suit onto. So now I can drive around the map in a mobile base pretty much, which is super nice. And if nighttime falls, I can just go into my sleeper room, sleep, and get the nighttime out of the way. So,
oh, interesting.
Yeah. So it's I'm having a lot of fun with it. I would give it at this point an 8 out of 10. Like you were saying, it'd be nice if there were enemies that were more formidable and more scary. It just kind of seems a little easy at this point to not die.
Yeah. I haven't seen Leviathans yet though, so.
Yeah, I have, and they're not as scary as the one from the first game.
Okay.
Not even close, I would say. But yeah, 8 out of 10. It's gotten really good reviews online as well. Let's see here, 9 out of 10 on Steam. 97% of Google users like it. So.
Yeah, I like the NPC so far, the one I've met. That's really cool to actually see other people. It definitely helps the loneliness of those type of games, I think.
Yes.
Which a lot of it, that's part of the atmosphere they're trying to create, is this kind of lonely sense of self-determination. But I don't know. I think that helps a lot, knowing that you're not alone in this entire world. There are other people out there surviving as well. And that's one thing too that I thought about the other day, was that the reason I think Subnautica is so much better than those other types of survival games really came down to the animations and the way the animals move and are designed. Because even Ark, I like a lot of Ark's mechanics, but it's a very lonely and dead world. The animals don't feel real. They don't move real. They it just doesn't create a good enough environment for me to stay invested a lot of the time. Whereas Subnautica, even though the patterns of the predators are fairly predictable and stuff, the way everything comes together still feels a lot more, a lot better. So I think that's why. I think that's why that's the one that I really go back to. That's the one I think about when I think of kind of the pinnacle of survival crafting games.
See, I'm different, and we can agree to disagree here. But with Ark, I'm so task oriented, I guess. As a gamer, like I like to always have stuff to do, I guess. And in Ark, it's like there's so many things to do. It's almost overwhelming. Like, oh, I could tame this, I could go out and tame that, I could work on my base, I could work on my raft, I could go try to fight a boss. In Subnautica, it's a little more stale, where it's not as there's not as many points out there for you to task orient yourself towards. So I guess that would be my my point of view on that. So it just feels more lively.
Yeah.
Ark does.
Oh, so yeah, I actually, yeah, I could not disagree more with that. It definitely is not more lively. It's definitely more task oriented. There's more tasks to do.
And to me, that like fills the world a little bit better. And I'm not trying to say Subnautica's a bad game.
No, I know.
I'm having a lot of fun with it. And I'd actually probably rate them around the same. Because the problems that I have with Ark is, it's the glitches. And a lot of that isn't really Ark Wildcard Studios' fault. Because I play with
very big game.
Well, that, and I play with mods. So once you start introducing, 10, 15, 20 different mods, you get all these conflicting issues in the source code, or you can at least. And it does happen, especially if you've got a 500-hour file and there's been time for problems to accumulate. So, but we don't have to go into Ark at all.
Yeah.
But if we're comparing, I would say that they're probably around the same quality, just different.
Yeah. I don't know. Ambiance is just so important for me.
Yeah, and Subnautica has a lot of that for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of like a masterclass in that type of ambience, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Audio is so important. For a while I was reviewing games. Nobody watched them. When people want to see a review for a game, they watch IGN or one of those bigger guys. But I would work hard on them. But like one of the few things I would bring up all the time is the audio. And how important it is. And nobody ever brings up audio in their reviews, even the big guys like IGN. So have you played any other games recently?
Yeah. I just played earlier this morning The Amazing American Circus. It's not out yet. It's actually in beta. You can just go to The Amazing American Circus on Steam and click request to join. And then you can just play it right away. But it's a card game, but it also has kind of like a overmap, like a Darkest Dungeon, where you can upgrade certain things, part of your little circus town. And you control a circus, and you have different characters that have their own sets of cards and different types of circus acts. And then you go across this overmap, and you can go to like Spokane, because it starts in Seattle, Spokane, and then to Helena, Montana, and down to Wisconsin. And each time you're doing a card battle with your circus characters versus the audience. So the audience is kind of like attacking you, and you're trying to impress them and ignore their shouts and dislikes, and defeat them essentially to have a good circus performance. And you have like a finale bar that rises, certain amount of turns you can play per hand. All the characters have definitely, seems like a lot of different cool types of cards. I haven't upgraded anyone yet, but I know you can upgrade cards and add new cards to each character's decks. There's, a lot of mechanics where kind of like Darkest Dungeon, where your character can get like a negative status effect or a positive status effect after, a battle or a show. So there's a lot to it there. You can even keep certain effects and copy them to put on other people if you get a particularly good one. and I really like it. Like it's, I don't know, it's kind of a cool blend. Like I know like card games are annoying nowadays just because there's so many of them. Like we get it, but this one I think it's particularly cool. And plus, I love circus freaks. Like they're kind of like my people, you know. I want myself a big-breasted, bearded woman in my life.
Mayonnaise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we eat mayonnaise sandwiches.
Yeah.
The famous circus treat.
Oh God. Well, it certainly looks interesting. I'll say that. And I think a lot of card games come out because it's a good first game for a developer to do, because it's very clear cut for the programming and for the graphic artists and stuff like that. It's not super complex. But so that's going to be coming out August 12th, 2021. And the publisher and developer is Claybaiter, or Clabater, and then the side developer is Juggler Games on that.
And you can play it right now. It doesn't say when the open beta is going to end. So if you watch this, hop on, check it out, see if you can play it. It's definitely been a lot of fun. And the music too has this kind of old Western country kind of twanginess to it that I don't know. Seems like it could be a really cool game.
Interesting at the very least.
Absolutely.
Definitely better than the Lions song, I'd bet.
Hey, man. People love the Lions song.
Yeah, they do. I don't get it. I do not get it. So, and then I wanted to say, and it's good for the YouTube algorithm, so it's good for me to put this out there. But so when me and Justin here were having a debate on Ark versus Subnautica, put in the comment section what you guys think. It'd be interesting to hear. And I'll put a poll out on my YouTube channel, and then next podcast we'll talk about those results to see. And it's going to be favored towards Ark, for sure, because most of my audience on the Havoc Gaming channel I got from Ark. But I think a lot of people who've played Ark will also like Subnautica, so it'll be interesting to see what you guys have to say.
Search your souls and know that I'm right. And, don't be baby idiots. Use your big brains and come to the proper conclusion. Just my conclusion.
You guys know what's right.
Me.
You know what's right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Moving on.
All right. Yeah. You want to get into the news?
Yeah, let's get into the news.
All righty. The first one up, a new survey shows 59% of women hide their gender while gaming to avoid harassment. Subtext, 77% of women admit to dealing with some form of harassment. So this surprises nobody. If I was a woman, I would not go around saying I'm a woman online either.
Yeah, I mean, I could see if like most gamers were like super attractive or something, and then women would go on there to get attention like they do at the gym. And we just got a bunch of thumbs downs on the video. But yeah, it's gross. It's creepy. I've watched other guys do it, and it's very unbecoming and weird.
Well, here's like the weird part. Like, obviously, like dudes are creepos in general.
Yes,
they're creepos, especially when their identity is not revealed. And then they're creepos when they could be anywhere from 12 years old to 49. So you have kind of like a wide range of creepo going on. Creepo cubed, if you will. But here's like, it breaks it down though, the type of harassment they got. So some of this is like, I would argue with. So 77% of women have to deal with some form of unwanted behavior while gaming. I mean, that's 100% of everybody that plays, so I'm surprised that number's that low.
Well, how do you define unwanted?
But well, that's what I mean. I feel like even every man, like, you get shit talked in a game if you're not doing well. So
yeah,
I would say that's unwanted, and that happens with 100% of games and gamers. So where 70% say it's their competency being questioned. Of course, again, I think that one you could say if they're doing it specifically because they're a woman, that's fucked up and extra adds extra insult. But yeah, I mean, everybody gets their competency questions, especially if you're not doing well, and then they start hating on you, and then you start doing even worse because you're inside your head. I did that in League of Legends all the time. You get flamed like a motherfucker. Um, so falling. Oh, sorry. What?
I was gonna say, I never play online until I've at least mastered playing it solo, and that's one way that I personally avoid it. I know a lot of people, they jump into multiplayer games and they don't even bother practicing or anything. They just go right into the competition aspect. It's like, ooh, what does everybody hate me? It's because you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Go learn a little bit and then come back, so you're not dragging the whole goddamn team down.
Yeah.
No, I don't care. I usually don't care at all.
I'd say the next one is they're falling victim to gatekeeping 65% of the time. That one, yeah, I mean, that's like your clear sexism there. Like, oh, you're a woman, you can't play, or, oh, dudes rule.
I've never seen that. But I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I've never seen it.
I've definitely seen it more, but I don't play much anymore. But I mean, back in the day with like Halo, people would definitely be like, oh, we got a woman on our team type bullshit.
I think some of that might come from the different types of games that women and men tend to play. Like more women. I think there's actually more women who are gamers. There's more gamers who are women than there are men. But it's the type of games that women play. Like women are more likely to play cell phone games and casual games, while men are more likely to play competitive and more complex games.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a aspect to that as well. I'm not saying that there's no woman who plays competitive, hardcore, difficult to play games. Again, my wife beats my ass in Civ 6 almost 100% of the time.
Okay.
And I'm not bad at Civ 6. She's just really good. So
yeah. Then I'd say the next one is one I'm surprised it's this low, but they're being patronized 50% of the time.
Betas.
Well, I don't know. I think what they're saying here is
you're so beautiful.
When you're being condescending.
Oh.
You're being patronizing.
Okay.
So you're like, oh yeah, you're doing great, sweetheart, or oh yeah, you're amazing. Any kind of sarcasm type that, or I guess what they call mansplaining, which I disagree with as a term, but you can kind of understand what they're saying with it.
I think that's so cringy. Like I cringe, like even when someone calls like a woman they just met sweetheart. Like, why are you calling her sweetheart, dude? Like,
she could be a bitch. You don't know.
Yeah, there is a condescending element to that, and I probably would not tolerate that too well either if I saw that going on.
And then unsolicited relationship asks 44% of women have to deal with.
What percent?
44.
Oh no.
Oh, Joe, you want to go out with me?
Oh.
Hi. What size are your boobies?
I watch tentacle porn when I'm alone.
Well, who doesn't, my friend? Come on. Yeah, let's not bring tentacle porn into this. Not hurt nobody. Tentacle porn is the friend of the people, comrade. And then it goes on to 71% of participants pointed out that to help with these issues, they need companies to help. For example, by gaming ads being more diverse. Yeah, that's what you need. It's men are hitting on you because gaming ads are not more diverse. That's absolutely hilarious.
It's dumb.
It's not a good idea. It's not a good point. I don't think that helps as much as people assume it would. Um, better gaming ads. That's yeah. Which company told you that? Yeah, we need more ads. Our science has shown that these women need help, and to give them help, we need more ads with more women in them. That is the only way. We need to sell you our products more, but with women. That is the key to solving sexism in gaming. Next up,
more
I got
ads.
a unicorn to sell you. This unicorn, top-notch unicorn.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, I don't know. I love this. I absolutely love this type of stuff.
I do too. I find it really interesting. If I were to guess, I would say that, I would think the biggest problem is unwanted advances by random men all the time. Because as soon as you have a mic and you're a female and you're playing a game and people know you're a female, like I bet you can just feel the attention just bzzz.
Absolutely.
And it's like all these horny guys,
Oh yeah, dude. The horny boys, dude, out there fucking running amok, dude.
That's true. Yeah. It's true.
But I don't know. You probably need moderation on shit like that to be like, look, you can't be trying to make sexual advances at people on this video game. So like give warnings and maybe kick people out for that. I don't think it's ads though. I don't really think ads are going to be
the diversity in ads. Yeah, I don't think that's the problem. You know what the problem is it's maturity. If you're playing games with younger guys, the most dangerous people on this planet are young men, because they're also the dumbest people, and the least they're just dumb. I mean, if you go and look at a prison population, a lot of them are there, and they're younger men. Between 15 and 30 years old. They're dangerous and they're stupid.
In there for 30 years.
Yeah. Unless they're 60, and it's because they got put in there when they were 30. Yeah. So I do feel bad for women who have to go through that. And, maybe you can get in with a community of older gamers, more mature people would probably be a good bet.
Yeah. But there's a lot of horny old men out there too, dude.
There is. They're just better at hiding it.
Yeah. They're more creepy.
You're not safe anywhere, women. You're not safe
outside
anywhere.
Your window right now.
Yeah.
So we can go right from there into the next piece of news here. Twitch addresses hot tub streaming controversy by adding a hot tub category.
Nice. That's a good way to take care of that problem.
Yeah, I actually I don't mind this. So basically, I'm not gonna read from this article, but basically what was happening is people were mad because Twitch got very aggressive towards any kind of skimpy bikini streaming, but they would let it slide if you were in like a bathtub or a hot tub, or maybe not a bathtub, but like a pool. And so chicks would just wear bikinis and get into like inflatable pools and stream, their, to their horny simp boys. Yeah. And people were complaining because it's like, in a way, it was kind of bending the terms of service. But to solve it, they just said, okay, Twitch was just like, okay, well, we'll just make it its own channel. And then people know what they're getting into. They see it, what it is, and they can go there. Which I think is fine. I don't see why you can't let women make some money off simps. I don't know why they're so specific about making it a gaming or that, a weirdly focused type of platform. I guess they have some business strategy in mind that I don't see. However, what chicks make money off simps, you make money off the chicks. I mean, you're the big pimp.
Maybe it's they're trying to keep them on the platform, because there's other platforms that, I mean, that's pretty much what softcore porn. I mean, they could go to OnlyFans, and then now Twitter's lost, these heavy hitter women who
Mhm.
bring in a lot of income and a lot of viewers. Uh, and that's something that I bet you the people who complain the most are ugly fat women.
Jesus.
But
Probably, I guess.
even as a guy though, like honestly, it sucks because you could be the best gamer in the world. Like typically when it comes to being a live streamer,
I could see incels being very mad. I think incels kind of hate women that
yeah,
use sex to gain a following, because it's like a even further like rejection of them in life.
yeah, that's a pretty small portion of the population. I know that women are very harsh with.
Really?
I know women are very harsh with other women.
Well, that's true as well. You got your prudish. Well, and even then, you could say that's like an evolutionary tactic
Yes,
to tear down your rivals to boost your breeding
you
status
gotta get that
in the
top
tribe.
male. Yeah, you gotta get
Yeah.
that top male.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, with live streaming as a guy, it sucks when you're consistent and like either you're a really good gamer or you're really entertaining, you're really funny, you put a lot of time and effort and then just some bimbo with big boobs doesn't do shit, just comes out, it's like, "Hey, look at me." Like get the fuck out of here, stupid bitch, you know?
Yeah. Jesus. Yeah. I don't know. I don't understand why people would have a problem with it, but
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, I don't care. I think that Twitter made the right move, But I do understand also that it can be annoying that you work so hard as a live streamer, and then like some
oh,
gamer
Twitch.
girl, yeah, and then some gamer girl just gets a ton of viewers just because she's hot, And that's
Yeah,
that's
but
actually a benefit
well,
to
yeah.
we were just talking about how a lot of women don't like the attention in the gaming community, but then you got the flip side of the coin where it's like, well, there's women who make tons of money from doing that exact same thing,
But
so
yeah, it just goes to show the diversity of it. You can't box up people in groups as big as woman or male or white or black. Like these terms are encompass way too many people, too many individuals to be like effective categories. So I don't know. I think if you, the one problem you have with it is you don't want like boys, young boys, to be looking at ladies or whatever. Having it as a tag or whatever, that's like, hey, this is what it is. Your parents can maybe moderate it or put blocks in to prevent that. Um,
it's a type of porn for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I think I mean I look. Some people are born smarter than other people, and they get that to use that advantage. Some people are born stronger than other people, and they get to use that advantage in life. So if you're born attractive, you got to use that advantage. And
Mhm.
look, if you're mad that some girl in a hot tub gets more streamers than you, and you bust your butt trying to be the best gamer ever, you know, stop trying to tear her down. Work on yourself. Get funnier. Get better at games. Get more interesting. Do cooler things in life. Improve improve yourself. Don't try to drag everyone else down to your fucking level.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. You know, uh, I know what I said a little bit ago seemed a little aggressive, but I was just kind of trying to make a point
Shit
for.
talking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just shit talking, but there is a point to it as well. I think because I did see it a little bit. I never got onto Twitch, but
Mhm.
Blaze from the Navy, he was on Twitch and he was pretty consistent and he was trying, and he just couldn't seem to get any attention, And then you see
It's a crowded market.
it's a crowded market too. It's a crowded market too. But it's
Mhm.
a huge advantage to be an attractive woman
Absolutely.
online. Yeah.
Sure.
And that's fine.
Just like it's a huge advantage to be tall if you play basketball.
Yes. Exactly. And if you're a hardcore gamer, maybe Twitch isn't the best place for you. Maybe you could look for a sponsor and try to get onto a team and compete that way, because Twitch and YouTube is so overly saturated. Even what we're doing with this podcast,
Oh
like
yeah, I'll never be big, but
I wouldn't say that. It would just take a long time, and it would take a lot of consistency on our behalf, which is the goal, I would say. I would like to do this for a while. I look forward to this every week.
Yeah, it's fun.
So hopefully people enjoy it. Hopefully we don't offend everybody off the platform or off of
I
our
want to
podcast.
offend everyone. I say, fuck you all.
Yeah.
Coming after you. I'm coming after your precious ideas.
Well,
But I don't know. I thought this was interesting.
It is
because
interesting.
I think it's a fine way to handle it. It's like, okay, we'll just call it what it is. Done.
That's what I would do. I think if I had a business, you want to keep them on your platform. You don't want them going to other platforms. So just handle it. That's a good way to handle it.
Just be honest with what it is, and boom.
Oh, done.
Yeah, dude. Let them bitches make the money. Victoria 3 announced by Paradox Interactive at Paradox Con plus expansions. So people have been bitching, I guess, for a while because it's been 11 years since they did Victoria, and they've done all the other franchises since then. So they did Universalis 4 first, then they did Hearts of Iron. Maybe I got this switched, and then they did Crusader Kings 3, which I really like. And some people are like, where's the love for Victoria 3? Which essentially bridges the gap between your Universalis 4 and Hearts of Iron. So, it's kind of cool. It's like one of the few games kind of in Victorian times. It's a grand strategy game, very similar to Hearts of Iron and Universalis 4. I don't think it's as much like Crusader Kings, where you don't have the interpersonal stuff. But I don't know. People are pumped for this. It's probably the only Paradox grand strategy that I haven't played very, very much. But I'll probably play this new one when it comes out.
Yeah. So Victoria 2 got very positive to overwhelmingly positive reviews. It kind of looks like a Civ 6 game, huh? A little bit.
No grand strategy, not really 4X, I don't believe.
Not 4X. Okay. Yeah, it looks interesting. It looks like a lot of micromanaging data and statistics and stuff.
Yeah, and all those games are like that. Yeah, it's definitely a lot of complexity stacked on top of each other.
Yeah, I don't know if I would play that. I don't know if I would want to put the time into learning all that. Looks like a lot of learning to do.
Yeah, they're cool though. I think once you get into one of them, the other ones become easier. Like the first one that hooked me was Crusader Kings 2, and just an absolutely fucking magnificent game. And I think 3 is a really good base foundation. Like a lot of people are kind of complaining about the expansions, but it came with so much stuff in the base game that the second one didn't. That I was very impressed, and I'm enjoying it a lot.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
So once you kind of like that, once you get one of them down, you can kind of see how the systems are similar. I believe Hearts of Iron 4 is on Game Pass. It's definitely worth checking out.
I guess that makes sense. I mean,
that's one's World War II.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like when I first picked up Civ 5, I had just started a game. I'm like, what the hell is this? Like it's hard to be super new and super fresh at a game like that, because it's just you don't even know where to start. And Civ 5, when I first played that game, it's like I don't know how to get to the next turn. Let alone how to run the economy and grow my empire. But then once you learn it, and then Civ 6 comes out, it's like, well, it's pretty easy. Now you know how Civ 6 works pretty much. So.
Really good. Have you not played any of the Paradox grand strategies?
I don't think so.
Really? Yeah, I mean, I recommend Crusader Kings. Either get like a good deal on like all of 2 with a lot of the expansions, or get 3.
Crusader Kings newer. 3. Yeah. Oh wow, they want your age verification. Must be pretty vulgar, huh?
There's some vulgar shit in there for sure.
Very positive reviews. Came out September 1st, 2020. And won a bunch of awards. It's just got really good reviews all the way around. Interesting. I'll look into it more.
Yeah, very good. The last one here, not a ton of news. This isn't really a big deal, but I think they're adding the Normandy into No Man's Sky. It's kind of a little joint thing. And then the new Expeditions mode came out like a month and a half ago for it. I know we both played this about like a year or two ago. So if you wanted to talk about it at all.
Sure. Yeah, I never played it when it first came out, when everybody was super hyped about it, and then everybody was super disappointed when it came out. So I wasn't in that group of people. So I
thought it looked bad.
What's that?
I thought it looked bad when it was coming out.
Yeah, so I mean, there's going to be people who were in that original pool that are going to be like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about or whatever. So I started playing like a year and a half ago, and I probably put, I don't know, I could check how many hours I put into it. But I had a lot of fun with it. I felt like it needed some more help still. I think Expeditions is a good step in the right direction. I got to a point in the game where there was nothing left to do but like traverse from one space station to another and just talk to the people. I forgot why I had to talk to them, but that's all I had left to do. And it got there was a point where there's nothing left to do, pretty much. It just got really boring. And what would have been nice was to have some kind of some more in-depth missions to do, not just these very shallow, go to this planet and do that 1,000 times, because that's how the missions were set up when I played. It was just like a couple styles of different missions, and they were all the same, and you just had to do them over and over and over and over again. So what I thought was missing was deeper, richer missions to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. There's a lot of parts about it that feel kind of hollow still. But, I mean, I'm definitely impressed with what they've been able to do with that game and really turn it into a good product, a good game, really fulfilled and expanded, on promises it made. So they really took ownership of that failure and made something really fucking cool out of it, I'd say. And this is definitely, looking at a big weakness the game had and solving it, which really kind of shows you, kind of how they've been adding onto the game, since it first started. They kept like, okay, this is a problem, solve it. Multiplayer, we lied about it. We just lied about having it, so solved it.
Yeah.
And obviously they fucked up pretty big time in the beginning, but I gotta say, reputation repaired by this point for sure.
Yeah, the recent reviews on Steam, which is usually better to go off of, because they've got two different reviews on Steam. All the reviews compiled into one, and more recent reviews. All the reviews mixed into one is mixed. Like, a lot of people love it, a lot of people hate it, but that's also the reviews from when it first came out. Everybody hated it, and it's probably mostly negative. So accumulatively, it's mixed, but the recent reviews are very positive. And I had almost 100 hours into it, which isn't a small amount,
Yeah.
So I got a
pretty good amount.
Yeah, I had a decent taste for it, and like you said, there was just a lot of elements that kind of made the game still feel a little bit hollow. And hopefully Expeditions will kind of fill that, add a little bit of color or warmth to the game, I guess is one way to put it.
I was playing, like, my friend got me into it, so I was playing with him, and I got to like the hub thing where you can see the other people. But even playing with him, I was like, oh yeah, here's your base. Oh, we can go kill this bounty pirate. But there wasn't much to do, like, together. So the fact that they tackled that very specific thing, that's cool. And that's what people want, they want to be able to play with their friends and have something important to do. So And they added sandworms a while ago, and that's like, okay, you got sandworms, that's dope.
Yeah, Dune style.
Oh yeah.
You know what'd be nice is that if they took a game like that and I don't know, like teamed up with id Software or something for the movement and combat physics, because like No Man's Sky has kind of the same problem that Subnautica has, where the enemies are subpar, and it if you added enemies and you added fun combat, I think that would really boost the game up a lot. Especially a game like Subnautica. Imagine if you landed on, or not Subnautica, No Man's Sky. Imagine if you landed on a planet and then it was like Rage 2, where it's like super fast, like really good feeling first-person shooter style movement, and a lot more enemies. I think that would be really cool to see.
Yeah, and I do think the generation, and it's the only way you can do a game like that. So I don't want to knock it too hard, but a lot of the shit looks the same or it looks bad because of the random generation. So I don't know. Hand drawn's always going to outdo that stuff, and it's always going to feel more alive when there's like an artist touch there than when you just auto-generate everything.
Yeah, I could see that.
But obviously, I mean, with the trillions of stars or whatever he says, like that's impossible. But I think that definitely goes a long way for it not being good.
I bet you, in the not too distant future, there will be incentive for a programmer or a team of programmers to come up with some type of algorithm to allow like a Genova program, or where it creates all these really good planets with some kind of like AI style programming, where everything makes sense and everything works well, and there's enemies where they should be and buildings where they should be, and it can be done. And really, that could be its own business. I think there's companies that work just on physics engines. There's companies that work just on GPUs. So why can't there be a company that works on random Genova style planet terraforming, blah blah blah?
Yeah, maybe someday we'll get there.
I bet you we will.
About it.
I bet you we will. I mean, the video game industry is so much bigger than the movie industry even, and I think it's only getting bigger. So I don't see a reason why we won't see that in another 10 years.
Yes. Alrighty. So I think that is everything I want to cover for the news. And then we can go on to upcoming games and then get out of here.
Get out of here.
So, get out of here.
For some reason, I hear that as John Travolta. John Travolta voice in my head when you say that.
Yeah. Get out.
Get out of here.
I try it. I don't say, get out of here. So we got Sunless Skies Sovereign Edition came out a couple days ago this week. Very positive rating of 80%. May 19th. I already said that. And then $24.99 is the cost for that one. Frozenheim, which is like a tactics type of RTS game, I believe. Came out May 20th. That one's $16.99. It's got mixed reviews. 25th of May, we got Biomutant coming out. It's like a Kung Fu cyber mutant animal open world RPG. So with that jumble of words, what more could you want? That is $59.99.
I think
it seems kind of cool.
Anyone who's interested, PewDiePie got access to it and is doing a live stream on that. So you can see what it's about on PewDiePie's channel.
Check out Mr. Pie.
Mr. Pie. Yeah. Whatever his name is.
Close personal friends of ours.
Yeah. Felix.
Then we got King of Seas. That's kind of another one that's been semi-high profile. It also comes out May 25th. $24.99 for that one. We also have Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remastered. That comes out also May 25th for $49.99. old school PlayStation boys will probably enjoy that one. Anime geeks. And then we got the Capcom Arcade Stadium coming out May 25th. Technically, it's free, but to get all the games in it, it'll cost about $40. It's got games like Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Battle Circuit, Final Fight, Ghosts and Ghouls, Bionic Commando, and a shit ton more. And then last, and maybe least, we had a Solasta Crown of the Magistar. That's coming out May 27th. Apparently, it's like a D&D faithful CRPG. Tactical type one though, so $39.99. That might be pretty cool too. There's a lot of CRPGs out nowadays though, so it's kind of got a lot of competition.
Yeah.
You know anything about any of those? Care about any of those?
I don't know much about any of those really, other than Biomutant. I'm not super excited about Biomutant. It's like a third-person shooter / RPG style. And when I saw a little bit of PewDiePie playing it, and it just kind of looked like kind of generic looking. I hate to be mean, it's.
Yeah.
I usually take the side of developers, because I have a theory that gamers have gotten kind of spoiled, where every gamer wants a game to be perfect, and that will never be the case ever, and I saw that a lot with Cyberpunk 2077 on the PC. Now, people on the PS4 and on consoles, they had a reason to be pissed. PS4 actually pulled it off of their digital store because it was just so bugged that Sony was like, we can't be selling a game like this on our platform.
Well, it couldn't even play on the regular systems.
Really? It was that bad?
It was like 10 frames per second. It looked absolutely horrible. It's totally unplayable.
Ugh. That makes me cringe. On the PC, I had a really good time on the PC playing it.
It was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was no worse than a Bethesda game, really. Like brand new, like when a Fallout comes out or a Skyrim comes out that first week.
Yeah. Well, there was a time, and I know I talk about John Carmack all the time, but back in the day, id Software, they didn't have a publisher, it was just them, the developer. And when they were asked, when is this game?
Stand alone.
Yeah, exactly. When they would be asked, when is this game coming out? Carmack would just say, it'll be finished when it's finished. And then when they put it out, it was done. It ran smoothly. Yeah. It was a great game. And then nowadays, you got all this pressure, from publishers, typically. And sometimes it's self-imposed, I would say. But where it's like, yeah, it's going to come out on this day. And then usually what happens is that they will come up as like, oh, we need another week. We need another 2 weeks. And then, no, they need a whole nother year is what they need, but they've already marketed it. They marketed it way too soon, but they couldn't afford to not market it because people cost a lot of money. Programmers cost a shitload of money. Graphic artists cost a shitload of money. Writers, voice actors, keeping the lights on in the brick and mortar, place that they're working out of. All that costs so much money, and so they need to. Sometimes they just have to put a game out so they don't go broke and have to shut everything down, which happens to developers all the time. Like Telltale Studios, the company that was making the Walking Dead games. They were right in the middle of making one of the Walking Dead games, and hey, we're out of money. Close down.
Yeah, they were pumping out games, like tons of games, tons of IPs.
It's scary.
Too much.
It's scary.
It was too much.
Yeah, it is too much.
Much too quick.
Yeah, and I think a lot of companies go out of business because they get that success. They get a bunch of money. It's like, okay, let's go do all this stuff.
Expand too fast. Yeah.
Expand too fast. Yeah, they should have played more Civilization 6. They would have known to slow it down. Rookies.
Absolute rookies. All right. Thanks everyone for watching the Nuclear Brigade podcast. I'm Justin Land. This is Alexander Hayho. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment telling us which one is better looking. It's me, of course, as always. And y'all have a wonderful week.